Journey of a Sister, Year 2.
Undoing the Indoctrination.
Her story, not history. In her African history classes, Suzanne learns how the economies of the British and other European countries were built using the blood, sweat and tears of her ancestors and the natural resources of her motherland. As the descendant of an enslaved African, she had been robbed of her heritage, true identity, inheritance, land and spirituality. In their place, she had been given a white man's name, a council property and a religion that held her in mental bondage. She had forgotten who she was as a black woman and therefore had nothing to pass down to future generations. But now she's discovering her rich history before slavery. Suzanne learns that her ancient ancestors were from Kemet, which means land of the blacks. It had been renamed Egypt after it was invaded in the 11th dynasty, 332 years before Christ. Dr. Walker clearly explains how the ancient Kemetians had been very advanced in their knowledge of the sciences, including philosophy, physics, chemistry, astronomy, mathematics, architecture, and the healing arts. They developed the first writings known as hieroglyphs, the first paper known as papyrus, constructed complex buildings such as the pyramids, understood how the universe works, how frequencies in music can heal the mind and body, and how the soul journeys after death. Ironically, as early as 300 BC, Aristotle and many of the other early Greek scholars had themselves described the Kemetians as having black skin with woolly hair. Alexander the Greek was another European enlightened by the priests of Kemet.
Soon after Alexander the Greek's death,
the Roman Empire began to emerge as a political powerhouse. The Romans were heavily influenced by their predecessors, inheriting many of the philosophies and religious practices from the Greeks, who had taken many of their concepts from ancient Kemet. Alexander's worship of the African goddess Isis spread into much of Rome under the guise of the Alexandrian Mysteries of Isis. This religious group went on to gain much power and influence in the Vatican, as well as many other institutions throughout Europe.